Back here on Sun Devil Extra, presented by Spring Hill Suites, Phoenix, Scottsdale. Braiden Bell alongside the first-year head coach of Arizona State Swim and Dive, Herbie Behm, joining us here on the program at Mono Plumber. And first off, Coach, so many reasons to want to attend Arizona State. This is the road show. Third week in a row we've been out on the road, but I think this is the best day weather-wise.
Oh, yeah.
Just another beautiful day in Tempe, huh?
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, it's we'll see the fruits of this next week at the Big 12 Championship, because now there's almost all the other teams train indoors, so we'll be way more tan.
Yeah, let's talk about the Big 12 Championships coming up a week from today as we film it here on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
You get going up at the Pacific Northwest in Federal Way, Washington. Of course, a really strong season for both the men and the women. And I guess my first question to you is that kind of a meet where everything's on the line, and, of course, a new conference this year for you guys.
Yeah.
What is the intensity of a conference meet like that?
It's a lot, and it's going to be amplified, I think, this year, because men and women are competing at the same venue at the same time. They've always been a week separate, so it'll be a lot more energetic with 17 teams there at the same time. So, yeah, it'll be loud, basically. And I think it's a pretty exciting time because it's the men have won some things in the past, and the women are very likely to, knock on wood. They're in a good spot this time, which is the first time they've really had that opportunity. So I think having both teams together at the same time will do that. Having the men have won some hard-fought battles where it's 4 days nonstop. This meet's actually even longer, where it'll be 5 days.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of emotional ups and downs, but having the men's team and the women's team all there kind of doing the same thing together simultaneously will be, I think, a really fun thing.
Yeah, you mentioned it kicks off next Tuesday and it goes through Saturday, March 1st, so it is
Yep.
a pretty long meet. How about you as a coach, having both squads competing at the
Yeah.
same time? Any adjustment there?
Not really. Like, it's just a lot, basically.
Yeah.
that's the only way to describe it. But we've got a great staff, a lot of people. There will be a ton of moving parts and a lot of people helping, and I think it's also time to just sit back and trust how they support one another, and just kind of see the environment almost fix itself, which I think I'm very confident in. And yeah, we'll see, and then any errors we'll know we'll know immediately after
Right.
that.
So many people around the Valley and nationally took notice of your program because of Leon Marchand and what he did in the Olympic Games last year. But you have another guy who already is making world records and amateur records as well in Elia Karoun.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about him outside of the pool, and then also what it meant for you as a first-year coach coming in, knowing that he'd come back and remain in the maroon and gold.
Yeah. It's been awesome. I mean, getting to know him on a deeper and deeper level has been really cool, and seeing him grow athletically and academically. He's done actually really well this year in both of those regards. But yeah, it's meant a ton for him to just come back, and it was interesting. Like, the first meet I was entirely in charge of him really for the first season was this summer going into the Olympics. And then winning 2 medals there was obviously a really good thing, and now we've had a ton of meets together. Most recently, we went to Budapest for the World Championships, where he won 5 medals and was individual world champion for the first time. So it's been a lot of of big things happening already in a short amount of time. But it's cool to see his trust in myself, but more just this entire team and kind of everything we've been building together. And that's where I think it's the start of something where I'm confident there will be more and more kids like him who can, I mean, he's a very unique talent in its own, but it's something that I think we can grow just with what we've been doing.
You mentioned that individual world record holder now in terms of the 200 butterfly, world champion, I should say.
Yeah.
How good can he be? You're now starting to see it in many different forms, but what's his ceiling?
I mean, I don't think we'll see anyone's ceiling in our lifetime. Like, I think that's what's cool about the sport, is that there's still so much to learn. I think the thing that makes him different is his just spectrum of what he can do. I mean, I think he's definitely the most impressive 50 free to 200 fly. That's something almost nobody does. And the fact that he's already been 18.5 and 137 is something nobody's ever done before. So that's a huge advantage, I think, for him on both sides, to where he can train at really high volume, because you kind of have to do that to be good at the 200 butterfly. And he's super explosive, very strong, and really fast, which makes you good at the 50 free. So combining that is I mean, there's nobody else on the team who can do like his practice schedule. Like, they just die. So I think his ceiling is I mean, I can only imagine what he can do. But yeah, he can be really fast.
Coach, so for people that don't watch you guys practice and maybe aren't too familiar with what you just said there, what is his practice schedule? Like how demanding really is that?
So he swims 9 times a week and then lifts 3 times a week. And there's some practices where it's 2 hours nonstop of very high intensity. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, those days he'll normally do that, then go to weights right after. But for him, there's days where it is sprinting for 2 hours, like literally reps on a minute, where he's going all out nonstop for 2 straight 2 straight hours, and he just is fine. And then the next day can do that again and just keep doing that. Sometimes come back the afternoon, do something like that again. So it's tiring.
And hold down a pretty good GPA, like you said, as well.
Yeah,
That makes it even more impressive.
Yeah, it's I mean, just that's again kind of our philosophy, is how you have to manage your life, and that's what's cool about this championship meet coming up, where it's kind of a display of everything we've done.
Sure.
Because that's what I think is good about the sport of swimming, is we kind of know what we're capable of. It's a spectrum of which we can change when we get to the meet, but it's just the process of changing that throughout how we live. And that's what's been impressive about Ilya and several other people on our team, is just managing that and raising it to a really high level. Because that's something, even at the Olympics this summer, he was still enrolled in a class online here, that luckily he finished it like a week before he left. So he didn't have to do it while he was competing. But he was doing that the entire preparation. So it's just managing, how you live, really.
It's wild. In terms of your role, coming in year one, not many guys get to take over a program that just won a national championship in any sport. But, of course, that was the case for you coming in.
Yeah.
Taking over for Bob Bowman, who's now at Texas, of course, who did great things for this program, and you worked underneath him.
Yeah.
What's the adjustment been like for you taking over as head coach? And obviously now we're an entire year through, basically. But how great has it been to be back at your alma mater and leading this program that's still having a lot of success?
Yeah. It's been great, and it's been really cool to just continue to expand on the things that I've been a part of building this for a long time, and I don't want to make it just about me, but there's so many people who've done this, and now like we just had a head coach meeting where Graham Rossini kind of shouted out the Sun Devil Swim Association. That is, when I was on the team, team had just been cut, and it was like, okay, how do we make this be a functional team? Now it's moved into how we're supporting the team in a new kind of NIL world and all of these other things, where that type of support is just as powerful. Fortunately, it's not entirely necessary on them like it was when I swam, but to just expand that and to make the meets something that is entertaining for the entire sport of swimming and alumni and all of that, and seeing almost 2,000 people here at our meet against U of A was a really cool thing. It's funny because we used to joke, like when I swam, there was multiple meets where it was just my roommate's parents were in the stands. He was the only person who was from here, and there was like, like the fact of how far it's come has been really cool. And that's what's exciting, to be a challenge for myself of how do we keep growing from that? And I don't want to just stop there.
Right.
But it's been really cool, and seeing that on the women's side as well, where they've been rolling, and kind of just growing it with the same idea of just how do we keep putting one foot in front of the other. It's been a very tiring but rewarding process.
I don't want to say it's rags to riches, but it really is remarkable what this program has been through from the time that you were here competing to where we are now, defending national champions on the men's side, and again ranked in the top 5, and on the women's side, a very strong program as well. Graham, of course, this is his show, so he's here every week, and he was talking when you guys got your rings about how some rings were given out to the people that helped get this program back to where it is.
Yeah.
How special is that for you to be involved in that ring ceremony and to see other people rewarded for getting you guys back to where, many around this program always thought it should have been?
Yeah. It's hard to describe, but it's really like, just a testament to them, because I know it truly is something that those guys believe that it was possible, and it's something, to be honest, I know when I swam, it's like, maybe if we can beat someone, because we'd never want to meet the whole
Wow.
time I was on the team. So the fact that they had this vision the whole time is just, telling, for one, the power of belief in itself, but also if you really just commit yourself to something, how much you can change. And being able to kind of gift them with that, and again, that's just part of what they've done, has meant the world, really. And to them as well, to see it, the very ups and very downs, is a really cool thing.
The impact of having Olympians within your program. Leon Marchand, we already mentioned him, but he was really one of the faces of the entire Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Regardless of what country you hail from, Leon was that guy, and obviously we talked about Ilya and his success. In terms of recruiting, it's got to be amazing, right? To be able to lean on those guys and say, this could be you next. How has that impacted the recruiting world?
Yeah, absolutely, because that's what as much as kids dream about being NCAA champions, things like that, swimming, it's always the Olympics, and that's the highest thing, and that's what every kid on our team dreams of doing. Now that we've got, Ilya, Tolu Young, Tiago Behar all went and got their Olympic rings tattooed together at the beginning of the season. That was like, wow, this is pretty cool, where we have a lot of people like that. And it's kind of an expectation now, where it's still an incredible feat if you do that, but it's also like, hey, this is what we're all trying to do. That helps a lot when we've actually had people go there and do it at the highest level, like Leon. It's something that might not ever happen again for anybody to just win 5 medals at one games is amazing. Having do that and do it here, where he lived in Tooker House right there, and did kind of everything that these guys are doing to show, like, if you do this well and commit to it, you can reach whatever level you want to.
The cool part about Leon as well is that he's a proud Sun Devil.
Oh, yeah.
He flashed the fork right after he won a gold medal.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. When's the last time how often do you keep in touch with him, I guess, and then is he still following the program?
Oh, yeah. He's still, stay in touch relatively often. He's in Australia right now. Mm-hmm. He's kind of living the life of, he's still training, but going all over the place and doing that. And I know he talks, daily with several of the kids on our team. He's, just incredible support, something that, we're all so proud of. And it's cool to see how proud he is of what we're still doing and still kind of about that, which is really exciting.
I want to ask you about the future of this sport, because in terms of sports that are growing so much across the states, you immediately think soccer, volleyball to a and extent, and I would say swimming's right there as well.
Yeah.
The times just continue to drop lower and lower and lower for kids that are younger and younger and younger.
Yeah.
Where do you see this sport heading in let's say 5, maybe even 10 years?
So I think we're just in the infancy of being able to market the sport and make it exciting, and that's something that I'm really proud of what we've done this year with just adding like the beer garden back there and some things for fans and viewers to enjoy, because it's something I think, I'm obviously biased because I like like the sport a lot, but just the venue of what we've got here, but all pools where it's condensed and you can watch the entire thing and actually see it really well, is something that we can grow. And it's just kind of, I think we need to add some things around the meets, because traditionally college meets I think have missed the boat on that, where they just race and they don't really promote it, don't really do anything for the fans. So I think it's like how volleyball was not that long ago, where they just kind of had the games and people went if they wanted to go, but there was nothing behind it. And now it's something that regularly sells out and makes a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So that's where I think college swimming is going. And in terms of swimming as a sport, again, I think we're just getting started on how fast people can be. So like the number of world records set, I think it's just going to keep going at that rate.
It's going to be one of those things where we look at Michael Phelps' times, and we kind of already have. You look at what he did And
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna say, oh well, yeah, I mean that was okay, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like the time Ilya went in his 100 fly to win he was bronze medal in that was faster than what Michael Phelps went to win gold in 2008. So it's already like that. That's actually a word I coined, a swimflation, where it just
I
keeps
saw
growing.
that in prep for this.
Okay,
What
yeah.
is swimflation?
It's basically inflation, where things are growing, but swimflation is how much quicker the sport of swimming is getting, because that's kind of the running joke of just that, to where when we look at the NCAA championships of even like when I was swimming, you're like these guys are terrible. They're like nothing compared to what it is now. So how much that improved, that's swimflation. Because like for the 50 free, for example, like I was the first person in Arizona high school history to go under 20 seconds, and now that's kind of like you have to do that to just be seriously considered to go go anywhere. Where it was like that was something that was a big deal, and again, like now we have 3 guys who've already gone 18 in the 50 free this year, and it was 2007. Fred Risquet was the first person to ever do it, and people's heads exploded when that happened.
Sure.
So now that it's just kind of like a standard, that's just what's going to keep happening.
I find that fascinating. Records are meant to be broken. You hear it all the time. But
Yeah.
let's say football, for example, styles of play can change.
Yeah.
You know, if you go no huddle offense, your offensive numbers are going to be higher. Basketball, same thing. If you're trying to push the pace a lot more, or shooting more threes, those records are going to be broken. Swimming is swimming, right? Like from an outsider standpoint, what is changing? Why are the times dropping so much?
It's the training, and it's also the just expectation on meets, where, like you just said, I think as the fans and expectations there raise, the performance is going to follow, because that's something that I think coaches have been doing a big disservice to the sport, where like when I swam, you kind of got laughed at if you went fast in season. So teams would kind of mask and try and go and like actually try and go slow. So then they only go fast. I know this is like this was like 3 years ago that people were still doing this. So it's something we've changed quite a bit here, where just like wearing suits at the meets wasn't. There's still some teams who haven't done that this year. So they're like deliberately trying to make themselves slower so they feel like they improve more at the end of the year. And we've just changed that, and it's like, hey, let's just start fast and see if we can get faster. It seems like a very simple concept, but it makes people real mad in the swimming world. So it's like a really divisive time, to where now, really last year that we won the national championship and set all these records, and it was like mathematically we still had the improvements that we like showed were going to happen. So now it's shifted the sport to follow that. And I think that's just going to raise the bar to another level.
Chatting with Herbie Behm, first-year head coach of Arizona State swim and dive. Your diving coach, Mark Briggs, also an Arizona State alum.
Yeah.
It's a part of something, the fabric of this show, whether we've talked to football staff, of course, Zeke Jones in wrestling, both men's and women's golf are alum now. Like, so many different coaches around this campus are alum.
Yeah.
And I think that's something the fan base is really connected to. And you hear Activate the Valley, but it's not just for football. It's really the athletic department as a whole. In terms of your connection, I know it runs deep, and we've already kind of talked about your journey as a student athlete and now to being the coach. But the impact you've had here in Tempe, how do you see that continuing to grow moving forward? And how special is it that it is kind of like it's a family dynamic, it seems, in this athletic department right now, even all the way to the top with Graham?
Yeah. It's a really cool thing. It's like our staff, we have 8 total coaches. 6 of them are alumni, which I think is the most of any team in the whole country, which is really cool. And it's just growing that. And again, that's what we kind of want to increase, is to keep it not just the alumni, but add that to fans, people who maybe don't know much about swimming, come to a meet, actually have a good time. I think the bar is relatively low in the sport of swimming, where it's like, okay, if we can just have them consider coming back, that's a win. So that's what we're really trying to do. But in terms of that, like having our whole staff knowing exactly what it's like to go here, to have taken classes, to have graduated, like do every step of the way, is a really cool thing. And I think also telling them, like I joke with them about like Tucker House, that's right behind these cameras here. It was like, man, that was PV Maine when I was here. That place is terrible. This is so much better. And like the places to eat down there, it's like there was only Panda Express when I was here, kids. Like, you don't know how good you have it. So I think that you kind of recognize, okay, how quickly this is growing, and now that it's just exponentially growing with the Novus Place, all these new restaurants.
Yeah.
Like it's just really cool, and that's something where it's like, I mean, I don't even remember what it was over there. I know there were fraternity houses, then it was just nothing for a long time.
It's like a lot, yeah. Right.
So to see how quickly it's growing and kind of have like the actual memory of like, no, this is what this was not too long ago, I think increases the kids' appreciation for that. And that's what I think we have a huge advantage of, and in the culture where it's everybody has been through it, just helps the kids realize like, oh wow, this is something special, and it's something that is new.
Right.
And I think that's the most important thing, is just that, to where it's like ASU swimming wasn't that good that long ago, so it's up to you guys to protect this and to grow it, and recruits coming in, like, you're starting something that hasn't really been done before. So that's really just what I think everybody here believes in.
Yeah, you're not flying under the radar anymore. I think it's
Yeah,
safe to say that, right?
Yeah.
How often do you wear your championship ring?
Just that time really at the ring.
I was hoping you were going to wear it today. I was
Yeah,
excited to
I
see
should
it.
have. I have it in the thing in my office
Okay.
where you just kind of see it.
Sure.
It's huge, so
Be a little annoying, maybe bump into things.
Yeah, I need to plan. I always need to think ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we get you on the show again,
I'll
remember.
Yeah, I'll
Right?
put it. Yeah.
Good luck this weekend, or I guess early next week, I should say, up in
Thank
Federal
you.
Way, Washington, men's and women's team, and then beyond that into the NCAAs as well. I know that's coming up as well. Best of luck. Great chatting with you, and thanks for having us at Home Digs today. I forgot my swim trunks, or else I'd probably
We've got some extras.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe off air. That's not going to be shown on this show for shame of my own being. But, Herbie Behm joining us here on Sun Devil Extra. Like I said, Coach, best of luck moving forward. Congratulations on the great success of the past, and hopefully we'll get you on here again soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll be back to wrap things up when we come back on Sun Devil Extra.